Hey gorgeous, it's Ker-leen. Thank you for tuning back into my channel. In today's video, I will be doing a little haul. I do have quite a bit of fragrances here, so I'm going to try to keep the pace of this video moving. I do want to talk about a brand new Arabian scent that I'm sure all of you have already heard about. I also have a few other fragrances that I picked up recently, so if you love a good old perfume haul, then please keep watching. Hey friend, welcome back to the channel. So I know you're excited to jump into these fragrances, but before we do that, I want to welcome those of you who are new here. On this channel, I talk luxury, I do review videos, I share my fragrance journey, and I also sprinkle in a little bit of lifestyle in my monthly vlogs. So if any of those things pique your interest, I would love to have you here. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when my videos drop. All right, let's get into it. The first fragrance I have here is the new Kissa Delicious by Paris Corner. I absolutely love Paris Corner. I think their fragrances are amazing. And so I always go into my Paris Corner purchases with a positive outlook because they just do some amazing fragrances. Usually their fragrances are ready to wear. There's no maceration required, although they do tend to get better and better with time. And so when I heard that they were coming out with a new scent that had notes of chocolate and marshmallow and just sounded so delicious and decadent and gourmand, I had to pick it up. So let's chat a little bit about Kissa Delicious. I'll be talking about this more in the future to give you a little bit more detail, but today I'm just going to quickly go over my experience so far. I have been testing this one out for over a week, so I do have some thoughts. So I'm not wearing any fragrance today, so we're gonna spray this on my skin so I can refresh my memory for y'all. Okay, so when I first spray this out, the initial note that hits my nose is the orange note. It's zesty, it's bright. You can definitely detect that it is an orange. And that's kind of the first note that hits my nose. And then after, the orange starts getting a little bit lighter, a little bit fluffier. And then I start getting something creamier and richer. And for me, this is not like a deep dark chocolate. To my nose, this smells like a milk chocolate or perhaps even a semi-sweet chocolate. It's not necessarily like a deep dark chocolate. I certainly don't pick up a bold kind of bittersweet dark chocolate. I pick up something fluffy and creamy. It turns creamy, almost like a milk chocolate or a semi-sweet chocolate. There's definitely something rich there. And then the orange starts to dissipate. It sort of falls back and then I start getting a creamy and rich sort of scent. Not too long after that, I start picking up on something that is a little bit nutty, like slightly nutty. And this does have coconut and marshmallow at the mid, so it could be that coconut mixing with all the other notes that's giving me something rich, something creamy, but also something slightly nutty. I don't pick up on a floral note at all, like I don't detect a floral note whatsoever, but what I am getting right now is something fluffy, something creamy, something rich, something that smells edible to my nose. And what I've been getting on the deep dry down of this fragrance is something that's almost coming across as like a pudding. So you know how pudding has this richness to it? It's sweet, but it's not like overly sweet. It's not something that's super duper sugary sweet. That's what I get from this fragrance. So imagine like a chocolate mousse or a milk chocolate pudding where it's creamy, it's rich, it's dense, it's sweet but not too sweet. It's something that smells comforting, it smells edible. That's kind of what this puts me in the mind of, sort of like a chocolate pudding. And that's pretty much what I get from this fragrance. It doesn't have very prominent woody notes to my nose. There's a subtle musk in here, but really what you're getting is something very soft and cozy and something that kind of cocoons you in like a warm sweetness, but it's also very light. It's not dense. It's not something that is cloying. Kissa Delicious has top notes of dark chocolate, orange and cream, middle notes of coconut, marshmallow and jasmine, and base notes of vanilla, woods, and white musk. This is a perfect spring and summertime gourmand because it's not cloying, it's not dense, it's not heavy, it doesn't feel burdensome. It feels very light and gentle, and it sort of cocoons you in that sweet, creamy richness. So that's what I've been getting from this one so far. Let me know what your experience has been if you've picked this up. Are you getting the same thing as me? Drop it down in the comments because I would love to know. This is Kissa Delicious by Paris Corner. So not too long ago, I featured this next fragrance in a haul video. I purchased a travel size from Frag Bar of Nuit d'Arabie, and I absolutely love this fragrance. It is supposed to be a dupe for Montal's Arabian's Tonka. And y'all, this is absolutely amazing. I do have the comparison video coming up between Nuit d'Arabie and Arabian's Tonka, but I've been prioritizing some of the other fragrances that you all want to see, which is why that one hasn't come yet, but it's coming. It's coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that. But I did go ahead and pick this up from Frag Bar. And again, this is Nuit d'Arabie. And here it is. I did purchase the full size from Aroma Concepts. I do have a code, a coupon code for Aroma Concepts. So whenever you're shopping on there, you can get 10% off by using my code. I will put it in the description box for you. But yes, this is from Aroma Concepts. I purchased this maybe a couple of weeks ago and it came super duper fast. And I've been waiting until this video to unbox it because I already know what it smells like, but I wanted to unbox it on camera with you all. So let's go ahead and do that together. This is their Pandora scents line. And this is the gorgeous bottle. How luxurious. Love the way that this bottle looks. I low-key prefer the way this bottle looks to the original bottle, the original Montal bottles. I love the matteness of this. I love the shape of the bottle. This doesn't have that little charm that dangles from the Montal bottles. And I love how multifaceted the cap is. This looks very luxurious. So let's spray this in the air just for the heck of it. I already know what this smells like, but let's go ahead and spray the actual bottle in the air. Nice atomizer. Beautiful scent. Oh, y'all, this smells so good. This is the perfect, oh, I kind of wet the bottle. This is the perfect scent for fall and winter, but y'all, this is going to be worn in the evenings this spring and summer because I'm absolutely obsessed with how luxurious and sweet and slightly rosy and bold and sexy this smells. This is just so good. I have smelled Arabian's Tonka in passing at my local Neiman Marcus, and I think this is an amazing dupe. I don't recall what it smells like to the point that I can say this is spot on, so I'm going to go back and pick up an actual sample, get a decant of it, and do a comparison that's very detailed for you all. But I want to say this might be in the 90th percentile in terms of how similar it is to Arabian's Tonka. So please stay tuned for my detailed comparison video, which is coming soon. So yes, this is Nuit d'Arabie by Paris Corner, specifically their Pandora scents line. So the next fragrance I have here is something that's been on my wish list for a long time. A very long time. And recently I was chatting with one of my subbies and she told me that this was something that she loves as well, and we have very similar noses. And she asked me if I had smelled it before, and I told her that yes, I had a sample of it, I fell in love, and it's definitely been on my wish list. Recently I went on a trip with my family to celebrate my daughter's birthday, and I went to a niche boutique called Indie House, and they had the fragrance there, and I went ahead and picked it up. And the experience at this niche boutique was everything. The lovely fragrance connoisseur that worked there that was helping me, she actually looked me up on YouTube. So if you're watching this, you are amazing, and my experience was just top tier because of you. And I will always have scent memories attached to that day, to the trip, because of this fragrance, how good it is, and also because of the service I received at Indie House. So the fragrance I'm talking about is Bora Bora by Giardini di Toscana. This fragrance, y'all, is 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 fragrance. Not only does it smell absolutely delicious, it's beautifully blended, but it has high projection, high sillage, and it will last all day and then some. It will still be on your clothes after you wash your clothes. So this is what I would consider a 10 out of 10 fragrance because it's perfection in every way. This is the lovely bottle. I was exposed to this fragrance around the same time that I was exposed to Bianco Latte, but I didn't think Bianco Latte was something that I wanted to invest in, even though in general, these fragrances are not the most expensive niche fragrances you could ever buy. They are, relatively speaking, fairly affordable. But I just still didn't want to spend the money on Bianco Latte, and I'm glad I didn't because I found a dupe on the Arabian side called Caramel Cascade that gives me the same vibes and satisfies that kind of craving. But this one right here is something I knew I would end up getting. I just didn't know when. And after talking to my subby and finding that niche boutique, it kind of prompted me to just go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. And y'all, I'm so glad I did. This fragrance, y'all, is what dreams are made of. What dreams are made of. At least for me anyway. I love this fragrance. I cannot stop smiling right now because that's how happy this fragrance makes me. And I really feel like this is me in a bottle. It has those beautiful white florals, which I love, but it also has very sweet and delectable notes, which I also love because I am a gourmand girly. Yes, that's me. I love a good edible smelling, sweet smelling, food-like smelling fragrance. But this just blends those two elements together seamlessly and is executed so well. When I wore this fragrance, the projection was insane. Not only was I projecting to everyone I was around, but I was smelling this fragrance all day long as if I had just sprayed it on. This is a fragrance you do not need to touch up. And for that reason, I think this is amazing. I'm sure you all are very familiar with this fragrance and the notes, but it's a white floral fragrance with a tropical and an edible nuance. So it smells very rich, very sweet. This has a little bit of a lactonic vibe to it, and it's just perfection. I love it. It dries down to a very sweet caramel. The deep dry down of this is where you get that beautiful caramel the most. And I feel like it's just the best of both worlds. So you get the flowers and the coconut and those creamy tropical aspects in the opening and in the mid. And then on the deep dry down, you're met with an edible smelling sweet caramel. Like, how perfect is that? So this is so good, y'all. I love this fragrance. This is a fragrance that I would not wear in intimate settings where I might offend someone, because even one spray of this projects like crazy. So keep that in mind. And for those of you that love projection, you love longevity, you love a great lasting sillage, a sillage that leaves an impression, check this one out if you love white florals, coconut, or a tropical smelling fragrance. This is Bora Bora by Giardini di Toscana. Most recently here, I discovered a brand called Maison Martin. You can find this brand at your local Urban Outfitters. You can also find them at Urban Outfitters online, and they also have their own website. This is a very affordable brand, and so when they reached out to me wanting me to smell some perfumes, I said, okay, I'll go ahead and test them out. So they sent me a bunch of like sample sizes, and they wanted me to pick out at least one fragrance that I loved. I actually ended up loving 3 fragrances. So because this is an affordable brand, and I truly feel like my audience will benefit, I wanted to bring it to you all and share the scents that I absolutely fell in love with. So this is the packaging right here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the scent notes today, but I'll definitely give you an idea of what the fragrances smell like, and I'll be back to talk about them as I wear them and as I experience them. So this first one, Arashi no Umi, has top notes of green apple, freesia, peach, middle notes of jasmine, rose, ylang ylang, base notes of cedarwood, furstenthal, and musk. What I love about each of these fragrance bottles is they have some beautiful artwork, so pleasing to the eye, and the scent inside is very, very beautiful. So from what I remember about this first one is it is very juicy, fresh. It has a crisp cedarwood, a very light musk. It's perfect for the spring and summer. This is so good. You know what this smells like? This smells like when you walk into a mall and you reach the fragrance area and you're smelling all of these gorgeous floral and sweet and bright and effervescent scents. That's what this smells like. This also has like a very, very subtle shampoo vibe to it. So it smells clean, it smells sweet, and then it has that crisp cedarwood. I think cedarwood just makes fragrances smell expensive in my opinion. And this is just such a beautiful one. So let me spray it to refresh my memory. Atomizer is very, very smooth, has a fine mist to it. This one is so good, y'all. It has this very sweet fruitiness and this freshness when you first spray it out. There's also like this beautiful floral component, and that's that freesia. Freesia is a floral note that has a fresh feel to it. It has a sweet feel to it. It has a very bright feel to it. And so I think the peach, the freesia, and the green apple makes for a very bright, juicy, mouth-watering opening, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the mid has rose, ylang ylang, and jasmine. And y'all know I'm on an ylang ylang kick, and I love a good white floral. I'm also dibbling and dabbling into roses, and the rose in this fragrance is not like a big, bold, heavy, deep red rose. It's a very soft pink rose, Rose Damascena. So it's a very nicely done rose. The florals blend perfectly together at the mid of this fragrance, and then it gets crisp and slightly musky on the dry down. So Arashi no Umi is the perfect spring and summertime fragrance. This would be really, really nice in the summertime because of that fresh component that it has and those really bright and lifted facets. This is a 1.7 fluid ounce bottle, and it is super duper affordable. So this next one has an interesting name, but don't let the name fool you because the scent is out of this world. This was one that I knew I had to have. I had to have this fragrance in a full size because it smells absolutely fantastic. So depending on where you're from, this name can mean a number of things. So I'm simply going to hold the bottle up so you can see the name, and we'll just talk about the fragrance, okay? Here is the bottle. Again, a beautiful bottle. And I'm sure y'all can see the name there. Very beautiful artwork. I love these bottles. I think if you're a person that loves art, if you're a creative, you will really appreciate these bottles. They're so nicely done. I love the artwork. Let's spray this fragrance out. This fragrance is one, y'all, I had to have it. Again, this is another perfect fragrance for spring and summer because it's very bright and fresh, but this one also has a sexy and sensual component to it. Oh, this smells so good, y'all. This smells so good. It has rose, mandarin, tree flower, orange, and kiwi at the top. So again, another very fruity opening, very juicy, very mouth-watering, but I love the rose and the mandarin tree flower. I feel like the flowers mixing with the orange and kiwi in the top of the fragrance gives this one a little bit of a more grown-up fruity scent. And then at the mid, you have orchid, peony, freesia, and rose. So freesia in this fragrance, again, some more rose at the mid. But again, the rose here is not like a red rose. It's more like a pink rose. Very nicely done. And then you have musk, sandalwood, ebony, and vanilla at the base. And the musk, the sandalwood, the ebony, and the vanilla, I feel like makes this fragrance very sensual. It gives it a sensual dry down. This one smells so delightful. Wow, so this one is one that is fruity, but it has creamy aspects. It's very sensual. It has a fluffiness to it, a sweetness to it, and it doesn't stay overly fruity for very long before it starts to get absolutely sensual and very sophisticated. This one is beautiful, very, very feminine. Both fragrances, by the way, are feminine leaning, and this one just gives sophisticated, soft, sweet, very womanly, and this is probably one of my favorites of the three that I received. This is definitely one I would highly recommend checking out for sure. This last one is a tropical summer type vibe, you know, vacation vibes, very sunscreen-like in essence, and this is Bain de Midi. Bain de Midi is a very tropical scent with top notes of bergamot and coconut, middle notes of tiare, ylang ylang, and gardenia, and then base notes of vanilla and musk. So a very simple fragrance, but a gorgeous fragrance nonetheless. It's the perfect summertime vibe. So I have been smelling so many summertime-like fragrances. I mentioned one in this video earlier when I talked about Bora Bora. This one here has a very fresh component, so it opens up very freshly with that bergamot, and the coconut is right at the top. So you're hit with those beachy vibes right away in the opening, and then at the mid is where you get the beautiful ylang, the gardenia. Within the first several minutes or so, you lose that freshness, but the coconut is still there, and it does linger throughout the wear. And the dry down of this is a very creamy, sweet fragrance that has a tropical nuance to it, and so it doesn't stay overly tropical throughout the entire wear, just in the very beginning, and then it sort of falls back the longer and longer you have this fragrance on. I do appreciate that, so that if you don't want to smell super tropical the entire day, but you just want a tropical zing and zest in the opening, this is one to try out because it does get more nuanced and more grown up, if you will, throughout the rest of the wear. So I do enjoy that about this fragrance. I love the dry down. It's so soft and sweet and just sensual and creamy, and just this is really nice. Now this is not overly sweet, it's nothing edible smelling, it smells very grown up. It just has a beautiful, soft, creamy, and enveloping dry down, which I think anyone would enjoy. So this is Bain de Midi by Maison Martin. So here are the three fragrances. Arashi no Umi is for those of you that love a super juicy, fruity fragrance, very fun, very uplifting, very bright for spring and summer. This is one to check out because it has a very fruity, pretty and fresh opening, but it also has gorgeous florals in here, and it dries down to something really sophisticated. Bain de Midi is for those of you who love a good tropical vibe, but this one doesn't stay overly tropical or sunscreen like all throughout. It does get very sensual and creamy and sort of warm on the dry down. As far as the performance for those three fragrances, I feel like it's pretty much the same. They gave me a moderate performance, so not a huge sillage. Although for Bain de Midi, it will linger a little bit because it has like heavier notes. That coconut sort of lingers a little bit. But overall, I would say the sillage and the projection are moderate. So your moderate performing fragrance. They're not very long lasting. So around like the 4 to 6 hour mark, you may want to top up depending on what kind of fragrance wearer you are and how much you spray initially. So I would say they're moderately performing fragrances. I think they're worth it because they're very affordable. You get a beautiful bottle, beautiful artwork, and you get a quality fragrance. So those are my thoughts on Maison Martin's fragrances. All right, friends, so we've come to the end of the video. If you're still here, thank you. I appreciate and I value you and your time. If you enjoyed the content, if you found it helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up on your way out because that really does help my channel grow. And speaking of growing, thank you to those of you who are new here. I've had a lot of new subscribers recently, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate you so much for hitting that subscribe button. I hope that we can continue to share our fragrance experiences together and grow our noses together and just have fun in this corner of the internet. I also hope that you leave my videos feeling encouraged and having a positive outlook, because over here we are positive vibes only. I'm all about encouraging each other, and so if that's your vibe, then you're welcome here, and please do stick around. Let me know in the comments if you have tried any of these fragrances or if you plan on picking any of them up. And if you don't have anything specific to say, drop me an emoji in the comment section so that I know you are here. So today I want to encourage you all with this thought. You are capable. The word capable is defined as having the ability to achieve efficiently what one has to do. Having the ability, fitness, or quality necessary to do or achieve a specific thing. Some phrases that are synonymous with capable are have what it takes, have the potential to, be equal to the task of. So I don't know what you've been told or what you have come to believe about yourself over the years, over the course of your life, but I want to remind you today that you're capable and you can do it. No matter what anyone told you you can't do, you can do it. Hopefully that encourages you today. I will be over here reflecting on the very same thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one very soon. Mwah!